now getting directions to Point Fitness. What's your point?
What's up guys, Dominic Timoni here from Point Fitness, and today I'm going to show you accessory workouts to help improve your deadlift. So when we're talking about accessory workouts, they are workouts that you can incorporate into your program, but they're more targeted for the deadlift. So the first thing that we're going to talk about here, different variety of workouts that are not necessarily deadlift style, but will help improve your deadlift in the long run. Next, specificity. So depending on what it is that you're weak on, this is going to help you out in that field. So I'm going to talk about different ways, certain conversations that I see pretty frequently. Next is technique. So I'm going to show you ways to make sure that your technique's on point, so you're not obviously increasing the chances of injury, because if you're hurt, you can't work out. If you can't work out, you can't get results. More importantly, to do this for a long period of time, making sure the right muscles are working and we're not overactive in some other parts. So with that being said, let's get started. So the first variety workout that I'm going to show you are kettlebell swings. So we all know kettlebell swings, we've seen them before, so I'm going to quickly demonstrate the basic one that I teach. There is a different one that I like to show you later on, but here's just a quick form and a quick setup, because this setup is just as important. So with the kettlebell, you want to have it arm's length in front of you after you descend. So you want to hip hinge back, right? Have your arm straight, and then bend a little bit to get to the kettlebell, and you want to have it here. So from here, you want to rest it down, right? Keep it up. And from here, you just want to pull, get a little lat pull, get to this position, and then from here, push and squeeze, hips back, and drive. So all what this is doing is really getting into hip flexion and extension, getting the glutes and hamstrings going, and also teaching you to stay neutral with your spine. If you're doing this and you start cramping, now you're going into a little bit of squat, and now you're messing that neutral spine up. So that's why this is so great. There were plenty of studies that show that doing kettlebell swings helped improve deadlift within, I think it was like a month. Weight went up by like 10% by doing kettlebell swings, but obviously heavy. So for us, we only have one kettlebell. So what do we do if this is light? We do this. Take a resistance band, and I'll show you up close. You want to take a resistance band, and you want to strap it through here, and make a little loop, and bring the other side over. So now you have added resistance, and what's cool about resistance band is that the tension will increase as you perform the exercise. So the strength curve is going to increase when the point is technically easier. So now the strength curve is going to be throughout the entire motion, as opposed to just being all the way in the backside. So you want to take this, put it between your feet, pull it up nice and close, and it's the same setup. Make sure it's all nice and aligned. Once you got it lined up, same thing. Have it in front of you, neutral spine, pull it back, push, and now the tension just got great for me to keep the kettlebell straight and for me to stay neutral as I flex my glutes in this point, because now what's going to happen is the band wants to pull you and you want to collapse. So with this added resistance right on top, you're getting a good lock from the glutes, and it's keeping it up. Do not make this a front raise, right, guys? Do not make this a dumbbell raise. Don't lift like this and come down, right? We're working the hips. So this is just momentum. This arm swing is just momentum. So give those a shot, see how it feels, and it will help increase your deadlift if you're having a hard time locking out the bar from here and being explosive, where you kind of might be left behind, or if you start leaning back to lock out. So that's where video comes into play. So with this, that helps with the lockout and being more explosive as we're completing the rep. Going on to variety number 2 next, and we're working on glute bridges. So yes, this is a similar action as before, but it's a little bit different. Might suit you better if you like this type as opposed to kettlebell swings. But all you need is a physio ball, a wall. You can even do this on the floor too if you don't have a physio ball, but I like it because it's very unstable, but it's a controlled object as well. So we get a little bit more of a challenge. So what you want to do is you want to get a physio ball, place it on the wall like I do here. Now you want to lay down on your back. And the setup is changes from person to person. But with this, I really want us to focus more on the glute as opposed to the hamstring. So here's what it should look without any compensations. Just the basic standard procedure. So we want to be here, and you want to make sure. See right here, I'm a little bit too close. There's not that much separation. You want to have at least 145 degrees with the hamstrings. So it's like right around there. Now with this, after you get your setup right, you want to push your toes into the ball. Okay, now from here you can see my ribs are up. That's no good. So what I need to do is I need to go into a little bit of a posterior tilt. Squeeze my glutes. Now my hips and ribs are lined up. As I come up, I'm driving through with my hips. I'm squeezing, and I'm flexing my glutes, keeping everything down, allowing this to work. Now on the way down, you want to keep this neutral spine. So what you have to do is just hip hinge. Slide your fingers right around there, and then drive all the way up, squeeze again, and control down. Now you don't want to go all the way down to the floor because then you lose everything. You want to keep it. So keep this tension and drive up. So next, if you feel too much in your hamstrings as opposed to your glutes, there's certain things that we could do. Maybe you're too far away, so maybe you have to inch a little bit closer. Also, what you could do is instead of pushing down with your toes, think about having your toes up. So that will relieve a little bit more tension. It's already like pre-stretched the hamstrings. So what that's going to do is it's going to get that tension already active before you start. So, but same rules apply. Ribs down, glutes tight, drive up, and squeeze. Come all the way down. Drive up and squeeze. And watch out for any arching of the back. Don't want to over hyperextend the back. Come on down. And those are it. So this first variety workout that we're going to do are deficit deadlifts. So as you can see, the way I'm set up here, just got a regular bar, 2 plates on it, but 2 plates below where I would stand for a deadlift. If you don't have plates, you can use like those Pilates, you know, like platforms that most commercial gyms have. You can use that as well, but if it's too low, too high, you can mess around with it. But what this is really good for, it's great if you're having a hard time coming out of the pit, right? So that initial movement of pushing the ground away, because again, those are one of the cues when we're talking about deadlift, is you want to push down as opposed to pull up. So what this is, it's going to mimic that push down. Since you're in more of a deficit, you're lower to the ground, the bar is lower to the ground, you're higher up. So that's what this is going to help you out with. So I'm going to give you a quick example of what to do. The cues are exactly the same as a regular deadlift, but like I said, now we're in a higher platform, so it makes it a little bit more challenging. So you want to set up the same, right? This is a little bit more conventional. If you're sumo, you could put the plates wider, but form's still the same. So you can see here's where I would normally be on a deadlift, but now here where it gets a little bit more in depth. So you have to get the hips further back, still keep that neutral spine, push and squeeze. Hips go back, all the way down, right? Or all the way back, I should say. Block, and go. Hips back and down. So you're gonna feel it more in the glutes and hamstrings. And let me just say this real quick. Guys, this part is not your back. This is your glute. Your glute goes all the way up here, right? When we're talking about lower back pain and it shoots up, it's more towards the spine in the middle, and it feels like running up here. That's an issue. But if you feel anything around here, that's the top part of your glute. And that's exactly where I felt it there. So understand what it is that we're doing when we're working certain body parts, doing certain workouts, that yeah, it's your back, but it's your glute muscle. It makes it way all the way up there, and that's what this helps. It helps with bringing that bar a little bit harder for you to get off the ground, so your glute has to work a little bit longer for you to get that bar up off the ground the extra couple inches. So this next workout is offset Romanian deadlifts. What offset means is that one side of the body is doing a little bit more work than the other, but they're both working together. It's different than unilateral training, as I showed in previous videos, because one side is doing completely nothing, but one side is doing everything. This will help still use 2 parts of the body, but again, one side is doing a little bit more. So what this workout is good for is if you're having a hard time staying even with the bar as you're coming out of the pit and locking out. So basically, we've seen the hip shifting, right? If one hip internally rotates, the one externally rotates, that's a little bit more of, hip flexors too, but when we talk about deadlift, it's all about posterior chain. So that's what this is gonna focus on. So what you need to do is just hook up a landmine, put some weight on there, and you're gonna have to grip the barbell, but if the handle on the barbell is a little bit too thick, you could just use a regular handle like this and just strap it around, and that's a little bit more secure. Most of my clients like this way more. So now the stance. When you're lining this up, you still want the same principles. The bar still has to cross over the midpoint of your foot, but now the foot that's closest to the landmine, that's gonna get stepped back right around here, right? Just behind the opposite heel of the opposite foot. So, and you wanna be up on the toe, right? So as you're in this position, similar to the physio ball glute bridges, that's gonna help basically shut down the hamstring before you even start. So right from here, now you want to descend back, make sure that spine is neutral. This hip goes back. This hip is doing everything. This side is doing nothing but acting like a stabilizer. So from here, you want to grip, and now initiate the movement by pushing forward and lock. Hips back, push forward, and this is my weak side too, so you can see my tough is getting here, right here. This is the toughest part for me. And then I lock and I'm good. So I work on this at least twice a week as well to kind of help improve my deadlift, and things are going well. So this will really target your hamstrings more. Also, you might feel a little bit in your obliques, and that's okay because now we're offset, so the obliques help stabilize the core, making sure that spine stays neutral as we perform the lift. So going over technique on your own is something that's pretty challenging, as you don't have someone that could look over you and tell you, hey, fix this, hey, fix that. So the next best bet would be making sure that we are staying in line with a couple of resistance. And this one is just going to take a resistance band and some type of pull or something to wrap around. So this first one, it's great to work on the back side, right? So if we're ever locking out or rounding our back like this when we're starting to deadlift, or we're locking this way, right? We have to get the lats, the mid traps, surround boards, all those, the scapula, all that in plane in unison, so we can lock out the back side of our glutes and hamstrings, so our QL is not taking ground load as this collapses in. When this comes forward, so does this. Right, so we have to keep this tight. Keep this tight so this could work. So what you need to do is just wrap it around and take your thumbs, put them through like that. And next is elbow, elbow. Okay, hands, elbow, elbow. Now you want to come back and try to get it underneath your armpit. It'll feel a little more comfortable. Now from here, it's very simple. You want to keep the lats tight, right? Push this away so it doesn't choke you. Push it away here. And your stance is going to be very similar to the deadlift, but from here you're just going to hip hinge back and keep the band tight around your shoulder. Keep your scapula tight and push forward. And now your core is also getting some work as well to maintain your spine in a neutral position and push through. So what this is going to do is it's going to help pull like this, and you need to avoid it just by staying tight. So one of the things that we teach too is staying long with the spine. Right, so right here, I kind of run people's fingers through here to think long. So as your hip goes back, you're thinking long here. Now your core is working to push and stay straight. So right after you get the hang of the first exercise, next is you want to take that same band, same pole, and just slide it about maybe a couple inches low from the ground. And you want to go on your hands and knees, take the band, and instead of putting around your arms, you want to put this around your entire body. So you put it around your body, just like this. The way the back should be is right below your shoulder blades, right? So right below your scap. And you're going to get on your hands and knees. Make sure that your knees and hips are lined up, hands and shoulders are lined up. And with this position, since the band is wrapped around our scap, you want to use that as a cue. So you want to squeeze your scap with the band and hold that position for the entire time. Now from here with the hip position, you want to do a little bit like cat-cow, right? Get into this position, coming back out, and you want to find that neutral position for the pelvic floor to be nice and locked. Once you find that position, now you're locking your shoulder blades, rock back, and right here, I feel my lower abdomen right around here starting to kick in, because what's happening is I'm fighting the urge to go into any type of a tilt. And once you feel that good contraction, breathe out and lock in. So I'll show you right where I feel it right there. So if I would have let it go, now I go into that tilt and I curve my lower body. But I'm supposed to keep in that neutral spine, keeping the core to stabilize my spine, I'll be okay. And also the reason why we're retracting the scapula is so this band is going to want to pull and we're going to shrug. So now when we pull, we lose that posterior chain. We want to keep that scap locked in, similar to a deadlift. Rock back, rock forward, rock back, and rock forward. So there you have it, guys, a couple of new accessory workouts for you to do to help improve your deadlift. They might seem similar to you, but some might be a little bit different. Give them a shot. Hopefully these cues will help you along the way. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If not, see you guys next week. Thank you for checking us out.